Good afternoon, everybody. We've got the pug sitting with me. Like I said in one of my previous videos, she's my biggest cheerleader, so of course she's got to be here. Oh, you're gonna leave me? Okay. So now it's just me in the chair now, but we still got good vibes. Anyway, it is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and so good afternoon. And I know that if you're a fan of my good mornings every single time you watch my videos, it's a good afternoon today. So I hope you also are a big fan of good afternoons. And so I was busy this morning, not gonna lie. I had 3 meetings this morning. So that was fun. Honestly, it was fun. I'm not trying to be sarcastic or anything. I really enjoy my meetings, luckily. And so I was busy this morning, and then I was just hesitant. To be completely honest, I was hesitant to post this video because this is a real life example of what has happened to me, and I wanted to post this video because I feel like it's a really good example of taking a negative situation and turning it into some sort of positive, right? And I don't know, I was just worried about what other people would think, and if they guessed correctly, right? And I realized, no, that's stupid, because I'm here teaching people, don't care what other people think of you, don't do this, don't do that, and I'm over here not practicing what I preach by not posting this video, right? So I was like, bro, if people guess correctly about what happened in this real life situation, good for them. Like, let them guess, right? Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Someone's gonna guess correctly, and I'll be like, yep, true that. Like, what? No, okay, like, I'm not gonna say the person's name. I'm not even gonna say their gender, right? I'm gonna keep the gender neutral, so it could be anybody, right? Like, this is not gonna be an issue, right? If you guess, you have to be really close to me, and if you guess correctly, like, that's crazy. Like, you've got skills, So I know that this real life example might seem really far-fetched, but I'm not lying. This really did happen. And I've forgiven the person that did this, but I don't forget. The cliche is forgive and forget. Honey, I just straight up, I forgive, but I don't forget. Like, I know I'm not gonna forget how you treated me in the past. Like, let's be real. So, without further ado, because that I'm not gonna say the person's name, I gave that disclaimer, all that stuff. Without further ado, let's get started. So, long story short, this person and I, we were talking, and I'm not really sure if this is what we were originally talking about or not, doesn't matter, but at some point we got on the topic of me becoming a motivational speaker. And so this person and I were talking, and they just look at me, and they go, I don't see you ever becoming a motivational speaker. And it wasn't like, hey, like, there's some stuff you need to work on to achieve your dream, but I support you. No, it was really direct, and was really blunt, and it was really uncalled for, and it was mean. So this person just basically was really unfairly direct with me, and just uncalled for. And they were like, yeah, you're never gonna do it. Never gonna happen for you. It's a waste of your time, waste of your energy. You need to focus on other things. Go simpler. Live a simple life. You want to do all these crazy, important, inspiring things, but you're never gonna do them. And then they proceeded to tell me every single flaw that I've ever had in my, off the top, every single flaw that they could think of, off the top of their head, and then some. For reasons why I could never become a motivational speaker. And it was just thing after thing after thing after thing, right? Like, I was just sitting there, and this person was really just like, well, look, you struggle with talking to strangers. You struggle with just talking to a cashier at Target. You can't do this with me. You can't do that with me. You can't, phone calls, not one of your strengths. Look at that. You suck at phone calls, like all of these things, right? Like, and they just went, like, it was just endless, right? Like, thing after thing after thing after thing. And I was like, bro, like, what the heck, right? And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I was angry in the moment, so it wasn't like me being like, hey, what's going on, you know, like, super calm. Like, that did not happen. You know, I was angry, and I was like, hey, like, why? What's the point of this? What's the point of telling me, like, every single flaw you can think of in a really direct, really uncalled for, mean way? Like, what are you supposed to get out of this, right? Like, what is going on right now? Like, what is the point? And they just looked at me and they were like, oh no, I'm just trying to help you. I really just paused to let that sink in. Like, that's not how you help people. That's how you put someone down because you're insecure and you didn't achieve your dreams. So in order to make yourself feel good, you put other people's dreams and throw them in the trash for them so that you never have to see anyone be more successful than you, so you don't have to feel bad about yourself. That's what that is. That's not helping someone. Let's be real. That's not helping someone. And to put it into perspective, a few months later, maybe two or three, I don't know, you know, a few months later, I spoke with a different person, and they were like, hey, like, I know you want to become a motivational speaker, but there are some things that I know that you need to work on to become a motivational speaker. So here are some resources, here are some things that I noticed that need to be improved, and, you know, we'll build on it. You know, you'll build on it and you'll get better. That's literally the same, like, we had the same topic of conversation going with two very different people with two very different approaches, but this person that was like, hey, they would talk to me 2 months later, they did it properly. They weren't like, you suck at this, and unless you fix this, there is no freaking way you are ever going to be able to achieve dream A. Like, I'm sure there were moments that the person who talked to me months later was like, I don't know, right? But they weren't really going to voice their opinion because that's just putting someone down. The idea to motivate people is first bring them up to a state where they're like, yeah, you're right, like, thank you so much for the help, like, you're right, I do need to work on that, but you know what, that's no obstacle, right? That's what you want people's mindset to be. You don't want to tear them down like person B here, you know, person A, you know, like, did it right, person B did not, okay? And the most interesting thing to me in this story is I took what happened with person B, and I, for whatever reason during the time that this happened, I was listening to a lot of Gary Vee. If you know who he is, well, good for you. Like, I don't know, he's an acquired taste, and for me, I don't really listen to him a lot anymore, but I used to a lot during the time that this happened, and for whatever reason, Gary Vee talked a lot about during that time about how when you go and achieve your dreams, whether it's building a business or, you know, being a motivational speaker, you know, going into fashion, I don't know, whatever it is for you. I'm just trying to think of things off the top of my head. Whatever it is for you that's not, you know, like being a lawyer or being a doctor, or, you know, something that's socially acceptable, right, and simple. And Bella, and so what happened was, like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew as I continued to work on it, as I continued to work towards my dream and make improvements in my own, you know, delivery of my speeches and things like that, I knew that at some point someone close to me was going to be like, hey, stop, you know, you're crazy, don't do this, right? And yeah, so I knew that was going to happen, so I was like, alright, okay. And the way that person B spoke to me, this isn't B in sign language. I do this every single time, and I feel like anyone who speaks ASL is going to get really mad at me. This is not B, the letter B. I don't know, I just randomly thought of that. But I'm just using A, B to help with the visualization of just my hands, okay? But person B, the way they spoke to me, if I wasn't used to the way that person B spoke to me, my self-esteem would have just been obliterated, like destroyed, because the fact they literally just gave me every single flaw that they could think of, plus some more, on why I could never become a motivational speaker, and it just crushed me, right? But again, like I said, I was used to this type of talk from this person B, and I knew that someone was going to tell me at some point very soon that I'm crazy and I shouldn't do it, and it's a waste of my time. So I was ready, I was hurt by what person B said, but I wasn't unprepared, So I took what person B said to me as a thing where I was like, as motivation. I was like, really, you think that? Really? Let's go. Because for me, when someone says, no, it's a waste of your time, you can't do it, you can't achieve your goal, I'm like, bro, watch me. Watch me do it. And I feel like that comes a lot from me being a disabled person and people underestimating me from birth. But I don't know what it is for you, whatever it is. But for me, that just really drives me when that happens. So I was all for it in a way, right? Like it hurt me, but I was like, you know what? I can use this. I can use this to my advantage. So 6 to 8 months later, roughly, I would say, educated guess, right? I was taking or not even 6 to 8 months later. Let's be real here. Probably short, a few months, 4 months maybe. Give or take. 4 months is generous. So 4 months later, after that whole conversation with person B, I worked my butt off. Through that time, from the day I had that conversation, and I'm still working my butt off, And so I worked my butt off. I found apps, I found YouTube videos, I found all these things, and I read articles. I did everything I could possibly think of, including 4 months later, I took a public speaking class. And the public speaking teacher, Professor Nathan Wensko, gotta shout him out because he's one of my favorite teachers ever. So if you know who he is, he's an awesome dude, you're lucky. If you don't, you should get to know him if you can. And so he made us film our speeches so that we could look back at it and look at the stuff we need to work on and actually see it in real time, basically. Not just have it written on a piece of paper and be like, oh, okay, I need to work on my delivery, alright. But to actually see it, it's a game changer. So he made us film it. So I was like, alright, I'll just film it. I have to film it anyway. I wanted to film it to put it on YouTube because I was really excited to see how much improvement I would make throughout the semester taking that class. And I wanted to film it because what motivational speaker wouldn't film themselves giving speeches? So I filmed it. I just posted it on YouTube, and it's still on my YouTube channel to this day. It's the first 3 videos I put on the new specific, motivational, YouTube channel. And yeah, so I put it up there. I put the first one up there, and my family was like, oh, it's so cool, it's so great, thank you, it's so awesome, thank you for sharing. And I loved that positivity. Even though that was not anywhere near my best speech, I still have not had a moment where I was like, that's my best speech ever. No, I haven't had a moment where I was like, I finally, have, plateaued to a point in my skill level that it's great. There's not a single moment in my life where I've had that. But to have that, support, even though I definitely needed improvement in that time frame, and I still do, means a lot to me. But the reason I'm telling you this is not only because other people that were close to me saw the video and immediately supported me without question, but person B decided to sit down with me after watching the video and was like, it's so great, I knew you could always do it. And externally, I was just like, thanks. You know, because I didn't want to start an argument. I didn't want to be the person that I was feeling internally, where I was like, you were the same person that told me months ago that I could never do it, that motivational speaking was a waste of my freaking time, and you really want to sit here as soon as you see other people telling you to watch the video, you know, other people telling you that it's so good, and now because other people are watching, you want to jump on the bandwagon and act like you never doubted me. You know, like that's pretty much the end of it. But my point is, with this example, is I took an experience with someone where I could have let it crush me. I could have let it put me down. I could have let it be something where I was like, well, this person that spoke to me, they're really close to me, maybe they're right. I could have just given it up. Like, I could have just been like, dang it, they're right. I could have let that negative mindset that they had, because they were insecure and they wanted to put me down so that they didn't have to see me being more successful than them in anything, right? I could have just let what that person said to me and take it. I could have just taken it to heart, but I didn't. Instead, I used it to prove that person wrong, and now they're over here acting like my biggest cheerleader, and every single time they compliment me, don't think I ever forget what they said when I was still coming up, before I even started making YouTube videos, before I even like serious, like dedicated, like topics like the ones here, before I even started doing that stuff, before I even started, you know, like I was still on Instagram. It was like early motivation speaking days, you know, before I really got into it, like really got into it. You know, I also remember that they doubted me, you know, before they saw and heard other people say that I was amazing and they gave me that support with unconditional love. Before that happened, they didn't believe in me. Don't think I ever forget that. Right, like I've never forgotten it, I never will. This is also a lesson, I guess, that if you cross me, if you hurt my feelings, if you hurt someone I care about, I won't ever forget. Just saying, you know? So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you realize that even when people tell you no, you can still take that no and realize that you're that much closer to a yes the more people you ask, or using that no as fuel to be like proving that person wrong, or whatever it is for you. I hope that you realize that if someone tells you no, that you're crazy, that you shouldn't take time to achieve your God-given purpose, they're probably just insecure and they didn't achieve their own dreams. Let's be real here. Like, for real. So, just don't overthink it. Don't take someone's negativity to heart, because that will crush your dreams. But if you just keep plowing ahead, at some point that person that's negative to you will be your biggest cheerleader. I can bet money. I hope you got something out of this video. It's about 4 minutes longer than usual, but I wanted to get that good outro in there. And I hope you got something from it. Let me know what you thought. Thank you. I love you all. God loves you all no matter what. And I'll see you next time. Peace out.